back to the channel, and today a book haul, and this will be the 24 books I purchased from about mid-November through to about mid-January. And I'm going to start with a couple of new books that I purchased, and then I'm going to move on to second-hand books, and finally at the end I'll just do the hardbacks. So let's start with some new books I picked up. Now this became very highly recommended by a good friend of mine, Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems, and that is Skullface Boy. I picked this up as an independently published book of about 200 pages, so it's quite a light read, but this came very highly recommended. It was on his top 10 books of the year, Skullface Boy by Chad Lutsky, so I'm certainly looking forward. I'd love to think I could fit this in around Halloween, because I think the idea of a guy with a skull for a face is quite Halloweeny, but if I can't, I'll certainly put it on my TBR for next year. But yeah, Skullface Boy, that I picked it up for about £7 or about $9 in the US it would be. And next up is a kind of a reprint of this is the first Zorro book, the Curse of Capistrano. I think it was actually originally published as, but it is the first book in kind of like the Zorro series. It's only about 120 pages. It's not particularly long, but I think that Mike over on Michael K. Vaughan's channel is looking to read that this year, so I thought I'd have a little look. Now, one book that appeared on my last book haul, in fact 2 book hauls ago I think, was the second volume of the Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe, which I managed to pick up for just a couple of pounds, which was a really good find. So I decided to try and pick up the other 3 volumes, and they were harder to find, you can imagine. But I can confirm I now have all 4 volumes of Book of the New Sun in these lovely paperbacks. I had to go with like just good or very good condition on all of these, because they can be quite hard to track down and can be quite expensive. So I've got no like new qualities here, but they're all reasonable condition, and they cost me between kind of £5 and about £10 each. So all in all, it did cost me kind of like $25+ to pick up the full Book of the New Sun, just because these old paperbacks are now starting to get hard to find, and it is quite a popular series. All of the books will continue to go down in price from here until I get to the hardbacks. The next up is Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury. I keep getting told this is the author for me. The one author I haven't read I should really get to is Ray Bradbury, and I 100% agree. From every time I look at what book someone likes, the author that I haven't read that they like is Ray Bradbury. But for some reason I really want to start with one of his series, and I know Dandelion Wine is the first book in one of his series, and it is the kind of first book of his I ever put on my TBR. So I thought I'd go and find a copy. I did manage to finally pick up a nice old paperback for £5, so about $6 in the US. So that was quite a nice find, and that's one I'll have to add somewhere to my TBR. As far as grimdark goes, there's a couple of authors I haven't read that are considered kind of top tier grimdark fantasy authors. One is Glenn Cook, The Black Company. I finally picked up a copy of The Black Company. It is one I would like to start, but I do have 14 series on the go at the moment, so this is probably going to be next year or the year after, but at least I have it now. I think I paid about £4 or £5 for this one, or about $5. The other author I mentioned is R. Scott Baker. Now he has a couple of series, and I decided to pick up a couple of books from the series, so I had the ability to give them a go and give R. Scott Baker a fair crack. I think Aspect Emperor is one of the series, and the other series is the Prince of Nothing. So yeah, his books come very highly recommended, but they are particularly dark, so I'll see how I go with those. Obviously, I've got my extended Dark Tower read through to think of. I think it's about 26 books I need to read in that series. But one of the ones that I'll be reading this year is The Talisman, but I didn't own a copy of The Talisman. I couldn't find a book club edition, because I do like the book club hardbacks by Stephen King. I know it's a travesty, but that is how I like to read them. But I did find this mass market paperback. I think I picked this up from a private sale for about £4. It's not in too bad condition, and it's quite a large book. It's going to be one of the larger reads in the Dark Tower at the moment, certainly this part of the Dark Tower that I'm reading. So yeah, The Talisman, that'll be on a channel later in the year. Next up, a couple of books I picked up for £1.50 or less than $2. The first one is a mint condition copy of The Templars by Dan Jones. So this is a non-fiction about the Knights Templar. I've got a few of his books now, and the first I will be reading will be in a couple of months' time, which is Power and Thrones, which I'm really looking forward to get to. The Templars will be a year or two down the line, but it was £1.50, so I had to kind of pick it up. As was the next book I need to read after I'm reading Wheel of Time. It's a big series, and book 5 I'm about to start in a couple of weeks' time, but I didn't own book 6. So when I got through with it, I didn't have anything to go to, so I managed to find Lord of Chaos in near mint condition, in paperback form for £1.50 or less than $2, and for a 1,000-page paperback in near mint condition, £1.50 is not bad. Next up are some books I picked up for just £1 or about $1.25. The first of those is I, Claudius. I couldn't remember if I'd shown this in one of my previous hauls, but I tried to look and I didn't see it. So I, Claudius, yeah, it comes very highly recommended. I didn't have it. It's a Penguin Classics. I love these orange spine Penguin Classics, and so £1 was a very good deal. And then all 3 of these were £1 a piece, and they are all books in Roger Zelazny's Amber series. Now, everyone's been showing off that great big collection. I think it's like all 10 books, or however many books there are in the books of Amber, in one big hardback. But I really love to collect these kind of series in the small paperback. So I've been looking around, and someone was selling these just for £1 a piece. So here are 3 books from the Amber series by Roger Zelazny. Nice little paperbacks, £1 a piece. I hope to be able to find them all in this format, but we shall see. So next up, I'm going to go through some of the hardbacks. These were a little bit pricier. I think I picked this one up, was one of the cheapest. This is Tyrant's Throne by Sebastian de Castell. This is part of the Greatcoat series. I love these hardboard hardbacks. I try to pick them up every time I see them. I know they don't last as long as normal hardbacks, but I just love them. I think the aesthetic is so nice. And when I saw this for like £4, I just had to pick it up. I think I already had this in paperback even, but I thought I'm going to pick this up just because of the low price. The find of the entire year, basically, was when I found The Trouble with Peace in near mint condition hardback by Joe Abercrombie. I had been trying to find a copy of this new for less than £15. It's just not, it goes for £18 to £20 everywhere I see it, and I managed to pick this up for, I think it was £2 or £3. So cheap, such good condition. I have still got to get to some of the standalones before I start the new series, but you know, I'm gonna read this. It's a guarantee, so I might as well pick up while it's cheap. Also was extremely cheap. I think I picked this up for £1, though I did have to pay postage because I think it was eBay, and that is The Talisman of Shannara. Yes, hardback in excellent condition, and it was £1. So yeah, I kind of had to pick it up. It's one of the series that I had almost first heard about when I was younger, was Shannara. Next up, I have a brand new hardback. I picked this up in a sale. It's Brandon Sanderson. It's The Lost Metal. I really enjoyed Mistborn. At some point I will get round to this, so I thought I'd pick it up while it's on sale. Next up, just to cause some confusion, we have the final book in The Expanse. This is Leviathan Falls. I haven't read any of these books, but I know one day I will want to. So when I saw this, it was £3.99 second hand in almost perfect condition. I thought I'll pick it up. Obviously someone's finished reading The Expanse and wanted to get rid of their final copy, so I thought I'd get this while it was nice and cheap. And then finally, I just want to show the purchase I'm most proud of. I managed to get this at about half price from a private seller, and that is because I absolutely loved and adored, if you did not see my top 10 books, this won't come as a surprise at all, but I loved Dune by Frank Herbert. So I picked up the original Dune trilogy in this lovely, beautiful slipcase. They all have this fantastic sprayed edges as well. They have beautiful artwork. It's a beautiful collection, and one I managed to pick up for half price, so I went and did it. It was still sealed. The private seller, obviously it was an unwanted gift or whatever, so I picked up that as well. And that is the 24 books that I purchased with my own money over the last few months. I'm really happy with what I managed to get. Let me know if you found any bargains recently yourself.